So you want to move abroad, but you're not sure what to do with your home. In this video, I'm going to share all the options that you have if you're thinking of moving abroad, but still wondering if you should keep your home, sell it, or maybe do something else. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Cepee, rhymes with Peppy from SheHitRefresh.com. I help women age 30 and over break free from a life of routine and move abroad or travel the world long term. That's exactly what I did in 2015 when I moved from Texas to Spain at the age of 35. I'm now 42, I'm still in Spain, and I do not see a move back to the US in my future. On this channel, I talk about moving abroad, specifically for US citizens. So I'd love to invite you to like my video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any move abroad content. So if you own a home, one of the most important decisions that you'll need to make when moving abroad is what to do with it. And a lot of this is gonna depend on your personal situation and even how long you plan to spend abroad, but we're gonna get all into that. In this video, I'm specifically talking to homeowners. So if you're a renter, your options are pretty straightforward. You can either break your lease, sublet your apartment, or wait until your lease ends. But today we're going to talk about homeownership and what to do when you move abroad. But before we do, I just want to thank first Beth from my community, She Hit Refresh, who gave me the idea for this video. So thanks, Beth, for your suggestion. And I also want to give a shout out to Girl Pause, who commented on my video, How to Rent an Apartment Abroad. So Girl Pause says, I'm planning to move out by myself for the first time from Malaga to Valencia, and this video really helped me. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Paz, for watching my video, and I'm wishing you the best of luck from Malaga to Valencia. I hope that my video was helpful and you can use those tips in your move. For anyone watching who'd like me to give them a shout out, just leave a comment or drop your question below, and you never know, you might be the next shout out that I make. Okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about moving abroad and what to do with your home. So I'm gonna lay out a few options here, and the first one on the list is leaving your home vacant. Vacant homes do contribute to the housing crisis around the world, so keep that in mind. But in some cases, closing up your home for several months might be the most stress-free and economical, and maybe just the best option for you. This is especially the case if your home is paid off and you have minimal expenses that you need to cover while you're away. But one of the biggest concerns when leaving your home unoccupied is water damage, and that can be in the form of mold and frozen pipes that can lead to leakage in your house. Some other risks that can come to leaving a home vacant are break-ins, pest control, humidity, and much, much more. So if you do decide that your best option is to leave your home vacant, there are some practical things you can do to minimize the chances of mold, frozen pipes, or other issues that may come up. And one of those can be hiring a property manager or hire a third-party company to handle any of this for you, but check and see if that's something that you're gonna need and what the risks are for leaving your home vacant in your area. All right, if you don't want to leave your home vacant, you do have other options, and the next option on our list is to sell your home. Now, this is the most permanent option, and as we all know, right now in 2022, the housing market is hot. If you're in a place where you're looking to break the chains of home ownership, it might be a good time to sell your home. So there's a few things to consider when selling. First is to crunch the numbers and see what makes more financial sense. Is it better to hold on to your property and maybe rent it out, get rental income, and let your property appreciate, or is it better to sell now while things are good? Some questions to ask yourself if you're thinking about selling is this your homestead? Are you planning to invest the money that you earn, the profit, into another property, or are you looking to just sell and move abroad and move on? Knowing this is important to understand what your capital gains will be or might be if you sell, and the tax implications of those capital gains. And this is both important for your taxes in the US and your taxes abroad to help you avoid being overly penalized. So when it comes to capital gains, you really want to understand how you can qualify for exemptions and how moving abroad and selling down the road, how that's going to affect your capital gains. Last year, I sold one of my condos in the US, and right now I really wish I would have waited a year. I would have been able to make a lot more money, but that's okay. That's all in the past. But what I want to point out here is that I failed to realize when I sold that property that I would be liable for capital gains taxes here in Spain. So you heard that right. I sold a property in the US, but I was taxed on that here in Spain. And the taxes here are much higher than what they are in the US. Now, if I would have realized that if I wasn't a tax resident last year when I sold the property, I would not have to pay capital gains taxes here in Spain this year. I wish I would have known that because I could have found a way to possibly avoid those taxes by making sure I wasn't a tax resident in the year that I was selling my property. So if you're looking to sell, definitely check what the tax residency implications and requirements are for the country that you're moving to, just to see if there's a way to avoid those capital gain taxes abroad. And of course, the big benefit of selling your home is that if you make a profit, you have that money to help you with your move abroad, or you can use that money to reinvest somewhere else. All right, the next option on the list here is renting out your home. So renting is another great option, especially if you don't know exactly how long you're gonna be abroad. And you may not wanna give your home up right away when you move abroad when you're just trying to feel out a new place. So a perk to renting is that you can make a profit if your rental price covers all your costs and then some. So having that passive income while you live abroad may be a really great bonus. So some things you need to consider when renting is that number one, you're gonna have to find tenants. And so this is really important because having great tenants can make managing your property from abroad a lot easier and can ensure that someone is taking good care of your home. And I mentioned managing your own property, so there are actually two choices you can have. You can either manage your property from afar or find a property manager. So if you manage your property from abroad, which is what I did, it can help cutting down costs, but it can also be a bit of a headache when things go wrong. Be prepared to deal with repairs and maintenance. That's gonna cost you not only time, but money. And especially if you're in another time zone, for me, it was a 7-hour time difference, trying to coordinate with a maintenance person and your tenant when you have many hours of difference in time zone can be a bit difficult for everybody. But luckily in my case, my properties don't have a lot of issues, so managing from afar wasn't that much of a headache until we had problems, but that was just something that I would have to deal with for a week or two at a time. The other option though is that you can hire a property manager, and of course that's going to cost money. Typically that's going to cost at least 10% of what the rental price is of your property. But with a property manager, they can handle all of the issues for you, so you don't have to worry about getting calls or being disturbed by your tenants to scramble and figure out how to fix whatever's wrong at your property. All right, let's go over some more options here. So another option that you have is house sitting, and that's where you can have someone live in your house and look after it rather than leaving it vacant. But of course, this person will be staying in your home. Typically, it's free of charge, but it's in exchange for them taking care of things around your house. So if you have pets, they can watch your pets for you, water your plants, take care of your pool, shovel the driveway. There's a lot of things that they can take care of if they're living in your home. Of course, if you're having someone house sit for you, you do need to check to see if your HOA or your community allows these types of temporary stays, because not all do. But having someone house sit your home is a way to keep your home safe and also just ensure that there's someone on the property there taking care of your home. Another option that you have is house swapping. So this is actually something that I'm going to be trying out in a few weeks. I'm going to be swapping out our place in Malaga for Berlin. So I'll keep you updated on that. Let me know if you'd like to hear about how house swapping goes. Similar to house sitting, house swapping is based on trust and it's not a commercial exchange. So with house swapping, you would be staying in someone else's house while they stay in your house for an even exchange. Of course, there are house swapping opportunities out there that are based on point systems and non-simultaneous, but essentially house swapping is swapping homes with another person. As I mentioned, this is not a commercial arrangement, so what that means is that you're not going to have the legal protections of something like a sale or a rental. So do keep that in mind. Communication is key when you're house swapping. Communicate with the other party to understand the expectations, and of course you can join house swapping websites, and that can help you identify people who may be experienced in house swapping and have good reviews and have built a lot of trust within the house swapping community. Some other things to think about when house swapping is to communicate with the other party about utilities. Are those included? Will they have to pay for those? Are pets allowed? Are they allowed to use your car? Those things are important to know before you have a complete stranger stay in your home. The next option you have is to monetize your home. While renting long-term can be a kind of a set it and forget it option, it may not be an income generator. With Airbnb and other types of short-term home rental platforms, a big benefit of these options is that the nightly fee that you charge often exceeds the amount that you would get with a long-term rental. I do want to point out that a lot of cities have been facing the Airbnb effect, which has negatively impacted the housing landscape. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about putting your home on one of these platforms. So while you may make more money with a short-term rental, there are more costs and upkeep that you should take into consideration. There's going to be more maintenance, upkeep, having the house cleaned, and also just with that high turnover, there's going to be a lot of things just to make sure that you have stocked up in your house as well. And as I mentioned before, you're going to want to make sure that you are allowed to, in your community or with your HOA, allowed to have short-term rentals. I know for my properties, they do not allow rentals for less than 6 months, so Airbnb is not an option in my case. All right, we did it. So those are your options for what to do with your home when you move abroad. Let me know if you found the video helpful. Did you learn anything new? And if you need more resources, as always, check out my book, I'm Outta Here, An American's Ultimate Visa Guide to Living in Europe, where I identified the 17 easiest countries in Europe to move to based on viable visa options. And if you're a woman age 30 and over, come join my Facebook group, She Hit Refresh, where you can meet over 9,000 women worldwide who want to move abroad or who have already done so. You'll find plenty of inspiration, resources, and information to help you with your own move abroad. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on any move abroad content.